Welcome back to We the People. Don't miss a second of this show or any of your Now Media TV favorites, streaming live and on demand whenever and wherever you want. Grab the free Now Media TV app on Roku or iOS and enjoy instant access to our lineup of bilingual programs in both English and Spanish. Prefer podcasts? Listen to We the People anytime on the Now Media TV website at www.nowmedia.tv. Covering business, breaking news, lifestyle, culture, and more, Now Media TV is available 24/7, so the stories you care about are always within reach. In our final segment, we're rounding out our conversation with attorney Dionne Duckett, and I don't know about you, but I have been learning so much. And we're exploring the smart and strategic ways to pay for care legally, safely, and with peace of mind. See, families often feel trapped, believing their only options are to pay out of pocket or lose everything. But there are more choices than most people realize, and with the right legal guidance, they can preserve both care and financial stability. So, Dionne, what legal strategies can help families combine private funds, insurance, and other programs to pay for care for themselves or for their parents and loved ones?
So we talked about the Medicaid Asset Protection Trust and the Special Needs Trust, and you may want to do a combination of that. And it also depends on the level of assets, because you don't have to transfer. Hey, like if you're planning proactively 5 years in advance, you don't have to transfer everything into a Medicaid Asset Protection Trust. You may want to leave some things in a revocable living trust that you can continue to manage. But then when something happens, you might have to spend down. With crisis planning, there's a different strategy when you don't have 5 years. Having the long-term care insurance will also allow you to plan. One of the things by having long-term care insurance, you want to make sure you have enough. Usually, the levels will pay for a daily benefit. And so you want to look at how much that daily bill benefit if you translates into monthly. So you multiply it by 30 or 31, and usually the nursing home costs and things are also given to you as a daily rate. But you want to make sure you have enough, because if you and the length of time, because if you haven't put things into Medicaid protection trust, but you have long-term care insurance in place and you have a diagnosis that doesn't make you physically ill, that you might be able to live a long time but still need advanced care, then the long-term care insurance can pay for the nursing home protection and give you time to spend down. And so that's one way to combine the different things. Another thing that I have seen happen a lot of times I have married couples where they both may have had a long-term care insurance policy, and then one of them decides to stop paying for it because they're tired of they aren't using it, and they're tired of the rates going up, and then they get a diagnosis of dementia or Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, and now they can't get insured. And that's what insurance is. It's for just in case. And so I think long-term care insurance is one of the best ways to pay for long-term care, but there is a cost related to it.
Now, let's just suppose you have a family member that is providing the care at home. So I'll use the example of, let's say a couple decides to take in the one of the parents or both parents on both sides, and they are providing the care. They're the caregivers. Is there a way for them to be compensated? Because most often they're going to have to leave their job in order to provide the needs of the individual at the house.
Yes, and that's on a state by state basis, but you can enter into a legal caregiver agreement where that person, the family member, can be paid, but you have to have it in writing. You have to have a valid contract where where that person is providing services and getting compensated for it. And an elder law attorney can assist you with that.
I mean, based on your expertise, and I had to say, I'm so impressed that you're in 3 jurisdictions. So that even provides such a breadth of or wealth of information and experience. So when you're looking at these caregiver agreements, and what is your best advice to someone, or what are the terms that you usually suggest to your clients when you're preparing these agreements for them?
So in preparing it, it's really a case by case basis. And um, you have to make sure that the care that's being provided is something that's related to what their what the disability is, because again, with qualifying for long-term care Medicaid, you have to have need assistance with activities of daily living. So the services that are provided have to be related to the activities of daily living. And the compensation can't be unrealistic or unreasonable. So you have to make sure that um, how the caregiver is being compensated is would be acceptable by the court.
And so let me ask this. So let's say an individual doesn't have a care agreement. They are the caregivers. And is there any way, like through Medicaid or through Medicare or other assistance, government assistance will assist with supplementing their income as a caregiver?
Now, I haven't had a lot of experience with those programs, but there are some of those programs out there that um, will pay for a family member to pay to care for someone who has a need for long-term care.
I'm sorry, it just jumped in my head because I just started thinking of a client. I was like, oh, I got to look into this. So these are why I love having attorneys such as yourself come on my show, because though I have some perspective from my own practice and assisting clients, I mean, I have been, Dionne, I've been wanting to write notes down, and I'm very excited for our replays of this show. Now, one of the things you keep mentioning is to make sure that you have the right professionals or the right team in making these long-term plans. What should people look for in legal or financial professionals, excuse me, I can't seem to talk today, who specialize in long-term planning if they're not going to you, of course?
Well, thank you for that. I think you need to make sure that you're not going to a general practitioner. The rules are complicated, and when it comes to long-term care, and that's with anything. With a doctor, you're not going to go to a foot doctor to deliver your baby. So I think that when it comes to long-term care, you want to look at somebody who does estate planning and works with wills and trusts, but you also want to look for someone who specifically deals with elder law. And elder law encompasses so many different things. So that can be nursing home litigation. I don't do that. I'm a transactional attorney. So you want to find out, do they do the planning for qualifying for long-term care benefits? And you want to make sure of that. Same thing with your insurance professionals or your financial professionals. Ask them if they work with long-term care products and what different types of products they recommend. You may want to, when it comes to financial advisors, you can get referrals from attorneys, and you can get referrals for financial advisors. I think I mixed it up. You can
No,
get,
I know what you
you
mean.
can ask a financial advisor to refer an attorney, and you can ask your attorney to refer financial advisors, because a lot of times they work with people who complement what they do. And so, but you want to make sure that they have a background in not just the estate planning, because there are a lot of estate planning attorneys who do not do the long-term care planning. We use the same tools, trust, wills, powers of attorney, but there are very specific rules and complicated rules. It's easy to make a mistake.
And that's what you really truly want to avoid at best. It's always going to the right expert who fits your needs. And you said it so eloquently. You're not going to go to a foot doctor if you're having a baby. So if you want a specialist for your needs and you want to ensure that that specialist, which attorneys are specialists in different areas, and it's not just a broad-based area. There's very, subcategories to every category. Dionne, this has been incredibly valuable. Where can people follow your work and continue this conversation with you, especially if they're in Georgia, DC, and was that Maryland as
Maryland.
well?
Yep.
Please give our audience your contact info.
So I have a website, www.duckettllc.com. That's DUCKETT lawllc.com. And our telephone number is 404-349-2220. And I also have some videos that compare the Revocable Living Trust and the Medicaid Asset Protection Trust on my YouTube channel, which is Duckett Law LLC. So I have some videos there.
Well, and that is so helpful because I find that, and I have to say, I have to develop my YouTube channel for that. But having those videos and those resources are so beneficial. And I know my audience is going to be very interested and will learn a great deal from you being on my show. So thank you so much, Dionne, for sharing your expertise and compassion with us today. You've shown that with the right legal guidance, families don't have to face aging, illness, or care decisions with fear. They can face them with confidence. And to our viewers, planning ahead isn't about expecting the worst, it's about protecting the best of what you've built. I'm your host, Alina Gonzalez Dockery, and this has been another episode of We the People. Stay informed, stay empowered, and remember, knowledge of the law is the power to protect your life. I'll see you next time.